cosplaying. Hi, how are you? How is it like being an actor? Oh my God, that's a... Do we have... Oh, are you my therapist? Because I have something to say. No, so being an actor is very challenging. It's, you know, a lot of us become actors because we love acting. A lot of us become actors because we want to be famous. You know, like there's a lot of reasons to get into a business where you're constantly begging for a job. And that is what you're doing, you know? You're constantly begging. And you're constantly putting yourself out there to be judged, and most of the time rejected. And so, as I'm describing it, you can imagine it takes a resilient spirit with almost a psychotic amount of self-confidence. That's why you hear a lot about like, oh, these actors are nightmares, because they can go into very challenging circumstances and they're able to, you know, bring themselves fully to a situation where they're really not supposed to be optimal, with all the pressure and all the examination of them, and be vulnerable at the same time. It does require a strange sort of skill set. And so for me, it's been always a struggle and a challenge to be accepted and hired by Hollywood, because I had to sort of show people who I was before they would be like, oh, that exists, I'll put that in my show, you know, I'll put that in my show. Like, I've really never gotten roles except for people seeing my work and being like, oh, I can see what she does, let's find a role for her. For audition, I audition all the time and I just don't get hired, often. I mean, people like what I do, but it's like, I'm never exactly the fit. And that's hard because I know that I'm awesome, right? And so whenever you're like a freelance worker like that, I mean, there's a lot of different roles. You know, you're a writer, you know, you're a creator, you're putting your heart on a plate and being like, hi, would you like to smash this or eat it? You know, like, it's hard. I will say that doing the theater project was so fulfilling because it got me back to like, okay, I'm really just doing this for the love of it. Like, it's not gonna make me more famous, it's not gonna make me rich. No really important person is judging this right now. We're just doing it for the fun of it. And that's how the guild started. But then out of the root of that, being able to bring joy to a performance or whatever it is that you're making, that's when people who can help you make bigger things will come in because you've proven your case, right? And so I always tell people, if you want to be an actor, do local theater, but also volunteer for local shorts. And you don't have to just be the actor. Be like the craft service person. Hold the boom, learn how filmmaking works, because the only way you can be a good film actor is doing it, and there's no excuse now. You could buy, I mean, if you look, there's a from LA corn pudding and not expect me to come back for thirds, okay? No one knows how to put corn in a pudding in California, all right? It would be corn on salad at most. Hi, how are you?
So you are amazing, and you're staying intelligent and talented.
Thank you.
And I have a strange question that requires more context. So I'm a historian who has given my children...
So I want to say thank you. We took the dice 82.
Wow.
I was about 11 or 12 years old. A Dungeons and Dragons basic set. I played years and years. Fast forward decades later, I still play. My gaming group has been together for over 30 years. As a
Wow.
One of them is a retired English teacher with a master's degree who's a fabulous game master.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because he's also a comic book nerd too, so it makes it even better.
Yeah, thank you for doing the work, sir.
Some of them we go on vacation with.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
So my gaming group of friends has been together for a long time. But I also remember a time when we were in the parents' basement. People looked at you weird.
Yeah, my mom wouldn't let me. She bought us Dungeons and Dragons books, but she wouldn't let us play because she heard they had made you a Satanist. I'm not kidding. But we were homeschooled. We weren't even around other children. Listen, I'm okay. I mean, clearly from my answers, I'm a little addled. Like, I think the coffee wore off, but it's okay. I'm about to have one sip of bourbon. One sip, you guys. That's okay, right? It's not it's not like a bag of Lay's, right? A bottle? Great. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Hi. What's your question?
Okay, so my question's a little bit more personal, but...
Okay. I am on my period. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, anyway, I mean, listen.
I hope that every fan interaction you've had here in Lexington, Kentucky so far has been nothing but amazing.
It has. Everybody has been wonderful. In fact, a couple of people made me cry. In a good way, yeah.
Well, I guess my question is related to the times, because I know your career is just absolutely amazing. You're a hardworking person. You're a mother. You're a writer. Amazing, amazing. But I'm sure you've had moments where you just went, "What the heck just happened to me?" And as far as fan.
Oh,
you know.
yeah. I mean, it's very. Listen, I see the best. I feel like I will see somebody else see their soul, and I'll be like, there's very few people I'm like, ugh. Some people I see on TV lately, politicians, I'm like, ugh. But most people, I can see the good in people, and I feel like a lot of people are just here to celebrate what they love, especially in fan situations. I think that the only time I've ever been uncomfortable are when people take a little step too far, which is hard. It's hard to know with the kind of relationship you have with a fan, what is okay and what isn't, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to navigate, and I have a Discord that's very active, and for me, like, having that Discord and having people know me as a person. I will say that the unhappiest years of my life were when Geek and Sundry was huge, and I was on the front page of YouTube a lot, and people who didn't know who I was knew me. And I know that's weird, but they knew what I looked like, but they didn't know me as a person. They didn't know my struggles. They didn't know that I was a human being, and they treated me badly, right? And that's what we do all the time if you think about it. We know celebrities and we talk, oh, they're a bitch or whatever. We say, I do it, because we dehumanize people when we have a relationship from afar, right? And that's not what I was doing for so many years. And when it got to that tipping point of being recognized everywhere and and being commented on behind my back, and I read Reddit threads, I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not, and I'm like, you're being great. You cannot comment on correct every jerk on the internet about your life and your point of view and why you made something. You can't, but it drove me a little crazy, and I really had to kind of withdraw. And so, it's a weird world we live in, and I'm much happier now on a more measured scale, and always putting forth, hey, I'm just a person making stuff, and I'm really glad you helped me make things, because other than that, acting more important than people and putting that barrier of glossy perfection, A, it's not real. Those people poop too. And then B, it just creates a division that doesn't show that, hey, you could do this too. And I always want to encourage people, hey, you could do whatever I'm doing too. You just have to find your own path to do it. So thank you for that comment.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, bye. Thank you. Hi, lovely. What's up?
So as a nerdy mom, is there a part of geek culture that you're hesitant of your kids taking part in as they get older? And then what's one you're like crossing your fingers like, oh, I really hope they get into this?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. I tried not to indoctrinate my kid. It kind of didn't work. Because when she had no screens until she was 3 years old, okay? I was very proud of that. It was hard, but there's lots of studies saying, okay, their brains are fully formed at 3. If you can kind of hold off or at least have minimal screen time until then, it's going to be best for their neural connections. I was like, okay, great. The minute she turned 3, I'm like, we're going to game every night together, And so I played, 30 minutes every night of like Yoshi's Craft World or whatever. And so she has turned out, thank you. Somebody's a huge Yoshi's Craft World fan. Thank you for that. It's great.
I like Yoshi in general.
In general, Yoshi's pretty badass. But yeah, it was really fun it's fun to share that with her. And now she just turned 8 and she grabs the controller from me. And she's like, Mama, this is my game now. I'm like, no, you're supposed to watch me play. It's horrible. But she and I played board games together. And so being able to share that with her is really joyful because, on a weekend I'd be like, let's go play, Splendor or whatever. And she'll beat my ass, She will. I don't know what, I guess I started her too early because she's a little too good. I guess for me, the part of geek culture that I don't want her to be exposed to, I was really careful about what Disney shows I showed her. I didn't want to make her be anti-girly girl, but I did want to tell her hey, I don't love the narrative of this. Let's watch it together. And I'm not okay with her choices. You don't just marry the first person who kisses you while you're asleep. Let's be real. And now, when I'm reading books with her, I'll call out hey, I don't know, why are they treating her different than the guy, the boy character, right? So just pointing out little things, and And that's been something that's really important to impart that strength of, critique. And I just let her watch all of them. I was like, okay, Little Mermaid, you can watch whatever you want now, and talk to me about it. What'd you think? She's like, Little Mermaid is what a dumb thing to do. She's really down on Ariel. I'm like, I love those songs, but yeah, bad choice of theirs. The thing I don't want her to do is play any online games. She's not talking to strangers. She's not playing Roblox. She can play Minecraft, but only on a realm that I control. Other than that, I'm okay. I don't want her any social media. I'm literally saving $50 a month to pay her several $1,000s when she turns 18 if she stays off the internet. She stays off social media. So that's every day. I have an automatic. Thank you. I have an automatic thing that takes. If it was $20, think about when she's 18. That's 10 years of $20. That's a big chunk of money, right? And so if she can stay off TikTok and Instagram and all social media until she's 18, she'll get whatever's in that thing. And I feel like that's incentive. Because I feel like it's really harmful, especially to young girls. All the studies say it's super harmful. And, unless it's going to be additive to your life, I don't want you to be doing it. So I'll drive you wherever you want. Listen, you find the friends, I'll help you, but I don't want you consuming what I think is especially pretty destructive stuff for girls. Emphasizing that your looks are all you are, right? And that's all where you put your focus. And we have so much more to offer as women, and that's it. So that's what I'm doing. Other than that, she kicks my ass at every game, and she makes some questionable choices in Pokemon Violet. But hey, I just have to sit there and take it at this point. Thank you for that question. Good luck with your own kid. But they ain't easy. Hi. How are you doing? What's your question?
So I always used to look up to Charlie Bradbury and how she can fight monsters even though she's scared.
Thank you.
And she always looked up to Hermione Granger, she says.
Yes.
So my question is, what characters in fan culture do you look up to when you get scared?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I've always been a Wonder Woman stan. I've always loved Wonder Woman. I don't know. I've always gravitated toward female, characters. I always play a female character in my games. I enjoy identifying with really strong characters like that. But Harry Potter, for some, I know that there's some issues with the author stance, but if you separate the material, Harry Potter's a great, story. And Harry Potter, I just remember just diving into that as a kid and being like, I feel like an outsider. I love orphan fiction. I was obsessed with Emily of New Moon and Anne of Green Gables. As a kid, I was like, I'd love to be an orphan. Seems great. Why is there so much orphan? Why do we gotta get rid of the parents like that? I don't understand it. What is with it? It is a hero's journey? Can you have a mom in a hero's journey, or does she have to die? She has to die. Thank you so much. Okay, great. That's cheery to hear. So I guess, for me, Princess Leia. Number one. When I was a kid, I loved Princess Leia. Are you get out? 3 minutes? Okay. Yeah, her mom's dead too? God damn it. That's not okay, man. I want to, listen, you go be an orphan, but I'll still be alive, okay? We'll just pretend. Anyway, thank you for that question. All right, I have 3 minutes. I'm going to try to get through a couple more questions. I'm going to do them fast, okay? Okay.
Would you date your own avatar?
Yes, go. Who wouldn't make out with themselves? Raise your hand. Really? You would not make out with yourself?
No.
I'd have to shave first.
You shave first? Who would make out with themselves? Not very many. Okay. You were the fastest, though. I love it. You and me. Yeah, I'd do it. I mean, come on. Just for fun. Anyway, hi.
Your earlier question, you said acting involves a lot of rejection. How do you power through rejection?
You don't. You get depressed. Yeah, you get really depressed, and you want to quit all the time. And again, you have to have, if you go out and get rejected all the time, you have to have a really solid foundation of love and support outside of that. So not only family, friends to support you and make you feel like you're awesome, even though these people think you're dirt, and you feel it in your head. They really just don't care about you, let's be honest, which is almost worse. But you also have to have something that fuels you and makes you feel like an artist outside of them hiring you to do your art or not. And so whatever hobby it is, pottery, what if it's doing the theater on your own, All those things are, you have to create the most solid foundation. And then when you go out and get rejected, it's not quite as bad. You're like, okay, you didn't like what I did, I'm still awesome. So good luck with that. All right, 2 more minutes? Okay, we got it. We got 2 people, 2 minutes. Hi.
Have you played Fantasy Star Online or any other online Dreamcast games?
No, bye. I'm sorry.
There are devices that make that possible, actually.
It seems fun, but a girl can't do everything. I did like the fact that you love Yoshi, so we'll always be best friends there. Okay, last question.
So my question is, how did it feel walking on the set of Supernatural knowing that Jensen's character is such a womanizer and that your character was going to be a lesbian? And how you feel about that now that it's become such a big deal for sexualities to be so accepted?
I didn't care one way or another.
Awesome.
I will be honest with you, I don't think it matters. Why do you care about what turns people on? I don't get it. You know, just be yourself. Charlie was a character who just happened to be into girls. I don't know what her history was. I have no idea. But like, it didn't define her character, which I think is awesome. It just happened to be a human being, and this is her preference, and that's okay. And that should be, why does anyone else care about somebody else's preference? Let people live their lives. We're all citizens. I don't get it, you know? We're not hurting anyone. Let people be themselves, and that's what I'd love to close with. You're all wonderful people. Everybody I've met has been so lovely. I will be at my table for 15 minutes or whatever tonight, and I'll see you again. And thank you for listening to me babble. I love you all. A little bit of bourbon, just 1 sip. Okay, bye!